Hello friends, welcome back to the session. So in this session, we will discuss about creating a custom database table, or we can say the Z table. To create a custom database table, or we can say the Z table, SAP has provided the application called ABAP dictionary, or we can say the data dictionary. Anything is fine. ABAP or data dictionary. And to open this application, SAP has provided the shortcut code called transaction code, nothing but T code S11. Now, whenever we create any custom object in SAP, must start with either Z or Y, as we know. Now, if you want to start any object without following the naming standard as Z or Y, you need a access key, nothing but a permission. So, which is not easily going to be provided by either by your team, nothing but that is going to be managed by the basis consultant, or we can say the SAP security guy, we can say. But whenever we develop any custom object, it can be any program, it can be any database table, or any object which you want to develop, you must follow the naming standard, either Z or Y, followed by you can provide any name. So here I want to create one custom table. In that I want some set of fields, somewhat Z customer. You can take any value, something like Z customer. In that I want to create the field called customer ID, the name, the city which he belongs to, he or she, then postal code, then we can say street. If you want, you can take the field as country, or you can go with gender, some random field I'm taking. So I'm creating one Z table with these fields. Now to create a database table, what are the set of components which we have already discussed in the previous session? If you want more detail about the database table component, you can refer my previous video, which is already there in the description box. So now here we are going to create the database table. So go to the SAP screen. So I'm running the transaction code SE11. So this is a shortcut code or the transaction code provided by the SAP to run a specific application called ABAP dictionary or data dictionary. So this is your data dictionary or ABAP dictionary. As we discussed in the previous session, we do have 7 sub-objects. So data dictionary or the ABAP dictionary is a central repository or a location where we are going to define and maintain the data and its database objects which are related to the database. It means the data and the database object which you want to store physically inside the database, such kinds of data objects and the data we are going to process by using the application called data dictionary. Now what kind of data objects? It can be database table, it can be view, data type, type group, domain, search up, and the lock object. So here specifically we are working on the creation of database table. Anything starting with Z or Y, I'm providing something like ZZ01 underscore customer. It is not a mandatory like you followed by you need to provide Z01. No, you can provide anything. You can provide anything. So for every object, SAP has provided the 3 different possibilities. Either if you want to create the new, go with the create button. If you want to do the changes in existing, go with the change option. If you want to take in a preview mode or the read mode, then you can go with the display option. So here we are going to create the database table. So click on create option. So as soon we click on the create option, so this is the next further screen which we are supposed to get. So here we need to provide the description. Now the table which you are creating, what kind of information it is going to be hold? So somewhat description. So here I'm providing that this table is going to hold the information of customer. I can say customer information, right? Now if I revise or if I revisit the previous session, there we discussed about the component of database table. Like this is our previous session. Now here you can see the component of database table. Like if you want to create the table, what are the components? What are the settings we need to maintain? The very first, delivery and the maintenance. Under this tab, we need to maintain the delivery class and the table view maintenance. Followed by you need to create the fields, different set of fields which you needed. Then followed by you need to create the technical settings, or you need to mention the technical setting. So first we will go one by one. First we will maintain the delivery and maintenance. Now what is the meaning of delivery? Now the table which you are going to create, in that table, what kind of business data you are going to be maintaining. So SAP has provided a different set of business data like master, transaction, organization, system, statistical, configuration, so on. Now among these business data, what kind of business data you are supposed to maintain with the help of table, but not by you, by the end user, but your job is to just create the table. That we are going to specify by using the delivery class. Now if I go to this S11 screen, very first, can you see the tabs delivery and maintenance? By default, delivery maintenance selected, followed by you do have fields, then entry help slash check, then currency quantity fields, and here you can find the technical settings. So the mandatory options are, you need to maintain the delivery and maintenance. Under delivery and maintenance, you do have the delivery class and the data browser slash table view maintenance. The delivery class is nothing but what? Once after activation, what kind of business data you are supposed to maintain. It may be master, it can be transaction, it can be organization, system, statistical, configuration, customization, delivery, temporary, so on. Now, suppose if you want to maintain the master data, it doesn't mean that you're going to type somewhere. No, SAP has provided the possible option that we have already discussed. Like if you want to maintain the either maybe master or transaction. So master and transaction we can call as application. In that situation, you need to maintain it as A. That will be considered as application data. If you want to maintain the customizing data under delivery class, you need to maintain the C. Now you can ask me the possible options which we mentioned over here, can we see at the system level? Yes. So those possible options you can find. Just place the cursor on that input output field. Usually the data where we are passing, that we can call as the input output field. The data which we are type, can you see? Here I have passed the information as customer information, short description. This area we can call as the input output field. And this is your label field. Similarly, the delivery class is your label field, and in front of that you can find the input output field. If you know the what data you are supposed to maintain, then directly you can type it as A. Otherwise, you can just do F4. You can simply click on F4. Otherwise, you can select the binocular option. Next to that input output field, you are finding the binocular. Just either click on that option, or you can select F4 on your keyboard. So I'm going to select F4 from my keyboard. So this is the list which we're supposed to get. These are the list of possible values provided by the SAP. If you select A, then it can be considered as master or transaction. C, customizing. L, temporary or delivery. Similarly, G, E, S, W. We do have the different. So we always maintain A. Now, under delivery and maintenance, we do have the delivery class, the type of data which you are going to maintain. Once after creating the table, now there is a restriction you can apply. Like, do you want anybody else apart from you or maybe by you? Of course, in the real time, as a developer, we never maintain the data. It's a job of end user. Now, in real time, do you want anybody else to maintain this table? Maintain means either he can able to change the data, delete the data. That is a part of maintenance. Or you want to give the access only for display. So that you can do it by using the data browser slash table view maintenance. So there are three options. Display maintenance allowed with restriction. So it means anybody can display the data, but maintenance is restricted. You need the special permission. Like whatever the standard database table provided by the SAP, those are the part of display maintenance allowed with restriction. Now similarly, we do have a second option, display maintenance allowed. Anybody can see the data, anybody can manipulate it. The third one, display maintenance not allowed. No one can see the data, no one can manipulate it. But whenever we create the custom table, we always select the option as display maintenance allowed. I'm going to click on save option. Now here while saving, you will get the option as package and the local object. Now here thing is that suppose the development which you are creating, if it is related to the real time, means it is a business requirement. Of course, once after development, we need to move the changes to the quality. And from there, we need to take it to the production. Now, the object which you are developing, is it a practice purpose or it is a real-time business requirement? If it is a practice purpose, then no need to move the changes to the quality and from there to the production. We are going to keep locally within the development. In that case, you can select it as a local object. But suppose once after development, if I want to move these changes to the quality to production, you must save the object in package. The package name will be provided by your team lead, by maybe manager. No need to create the package every time, but that is totally depends upon the client. Sometimes business process wise, they always ask you to create the new package. Otherwise, they will ask you to use the existing package. Now you need to select the existing package if it is already there. Otherwise, you can create it by using S11. We do have the different session for this. And after providing the package name, if you click on save option, it will generate the 10-digit request number. That is a part of transport. We do have a separate session for this. For time being, I'm considering this object is going to be stored locally, which I don't want to transport later point of time. Object has been saved locally. Now you can ask me, suppose accidentally or knowingly, unknowingly, I have saved my object in a local, but actually this table need to be transported once after the development. Then is it possible to change the path from local to package? Of course, yes. You can change it at any time. How to do? Just go with select go to option and select object directory entry. If you click on this option, you will get the same pop-up again. And this is the package name of the local object. This is the package name of the local object. $tmp is a package name of local object. Now you can click on change option. You can provide your new package which you want to store in the package, and then you can click on save option. Or you're saying that accidentally I have saved in someone else package or someone else tr. You can delete it also. Vice versa, you can do the job. Now, after maintaining the delivery and maintenance, we need to maintain the fields one by one. Now, whenever you're creating the field, for creating the field, we do have the simple formula. Field equals to domain plus data element plus key field. So what is the meaning of domain? With the help of domain, we are going to maintain the data type and the length for a field. And with the data element, we are going to maintain description and the label. These are the two different things, description and the label. And the third one is a key field. See, whatever the information you are maintaining, maybe customer name, city, postal, street, whatever the information. Now with the same name, there might be two customer. With the same name, there might be three customer. Then how we are differentiating those three customer? So you need some unique information. It can be like, so you should not consider the government ID proof, but in your system, you do have the unique identification. Like if I go with the banking sector, they will be having the unique identification as an account number. If I go with the academy, like student information, you do have the university number as a unique identification. Same way, you can create your own identification. That is means what? Key field means what? The system will not allow you to store the duplicate value. Always it will allow the unique, right? So in a table, there should be at least one key field as we already discussed. And if you want, you can have the n number of, but not n number of, there is a maximum, like it is not recommendable to have more than 16 key field in a table. It doesn't mean that you not create, it is not possible to create the 17, but it is not recommendable, right? So here the column is for field. Next, the checkbox is for the key field. If you select the checkbox, it will become the key field. And there is a next column as an initial value. Initial value. Sometimes what user will do while entering the data, he can keep the data like value blank and he can able to save also. He can save the blank value also. But now what I wanted to do is I don't want user to enter the blank value. He must fill some value. In that case, if you select this checkbox, it means it system will not allow you to enter the blank value. Thereafter, you need to create the data element. Inside the data element, you do have the domain option. So first we will create one by one as per the requirement. I want to create the customer ID, name, city, so on. First, I'm creating the field CUST ID. Now, actually, this is complete one word. customer identification. System will not allow the space. The separator between the two words, system here will not allow the spacing. Now what usually we supposed to do in the word file notepad, the separator between the word we will keep consider as a space. But here system will not consider, it will not allow you to separator as a space. Then you can consider the separator as an underscore. For example, if I go with the notepad, so here, whatever the customer ID which I have maintained, it is something like this. System will not allow. You must be go with the underscore only. The separator you can go it as underscore. Otherwise you can write the continuous word, that is fine. But separator it will not allow as a space. The separator must be underscore only, right? Now what I'm going to do, I'm considering this as a underscore. CUST underscore ID. Now you can ask me like, I don't find any underscore over here. That is a complete underline, but it is there. It is there. Now if I write it over here, see, it is there, right? Now what we discussed, in a table there should be at least one key field, and the key field always should be remains in the first position. Now suppose whatever the set of field you are creating in a table, it doesn't mean that in the second, third, or in the later point of position you are going to have the field as a key field. System will not allow you. You should have all the key fields in the top position. Suppose you do have two fields in your table. So first key field I'm making it at first position, and the second key field I'm taking at the third or fourth position. System will not allow you. Gap will not allow. All the key fields should be remains in the top, right? And how we are going to consider that field as a key field? By selecting this checkbox. Now what is the meaning of key field? System will not allow this customer ID as a duplicate value. He will always allow the unique value. Now duplicate means, like suppose already the customer number has been stored in the number of 1000, he will not allow one second time as a 1000. But you can store the blank value. Very first time you can store the blank value also. But if it is a key field, maybe key field or non-key field. But I don't want user to enter the blank value. He must fill something. In that situation, you can select that initial values. If I select this checkbox, system will not allow you to save the entry with the blank value. You must fill something in the customer ID, right? Now I need to create the data element. Now actually field is not a component of SAP. The word field, it is not a component of SAP. So if it is not a component of SAP, then you no need to create a field starting with Z or Y. But data element is a component of SAP. How? Now, while discussing with the data dictionary, the sub objects, you do have database table, view, data type, type group. If you are creating any object from this list, that object name must be start with Z or Y. Even the data element is a part of data type. It means if you are creating the data element, must be start with Z or Y. Now for this customer ID, I'm creating the data element. So anything starting with Z or Y. So I'm providing Z. To avoid the duplicate name, I'm considering some random value as Z001 underscore customer underscore ID. Again, separator will be considered as underscore only. Separation as a space will not be allowed. Now, if you want to create the data element, you need to double click on this. So data element will be created in two different ways. That will be created by using the table itself, like while creating the table also you can create the data element, or you can create the data element externally also. Both the ways possible. I will show you the different way as well. Now I want to create the data element. How to create? Just double click on this. Now once you double click on this, he will ask you like, do you that the data element is not available with this name, do you want to create? Of course yes. In that situation it will navigate you to the next screen. When you are going to create the data element, system will navigate you to the next screen. Now before you navigate you to the next screen, whatever the data you have entered in this screen, do you want to save the data? Of course yes. Then if you're directly double clicking on that, of course system will ask you to save the information which you have already entered. Otherwise you first click on save option and then try to double click on this. Here I'm getting one pop-up. What is the meaning of this? The application table should be client specific. There is a concept called client number. We will overcome this information in that client number concept. Okay, so for timing, you can just skip this one. Now, the information which you have entered in the screen that has been saved. Now double click on this data element. So you will get the message data element so and so not available. Do you want to create? Of course, yes. See, it has navigated you to the different screen. So this is the data element. And can you see under each input output, sometimes under input output field, you can find that tick mark. Okay, tick mark. That means it's a mandatory field. You must fill some information. System will not allow the blank value. Now, in front of this short description, the area which we need to enter the value, that area we can call as the input output field. And in that, at the start position, you can find one tick mark that stands for mandatory field. You must fill some values. So the data element which you are creating, what is the meaning of that? You know, what is the use of data element? So the data element will be used to maintain the short description and the label. Now the field which you are creating, what is the meaning of that field? That is a part of short description. The field which you are creating, what is the meaning of that? So I'm saying that customer identification, right? So again, you can save either in local object or the package. I'm selecting the local object. Now, for the data element, you need to maintain the two different options. One with the description, another with the label. So description already has been maintained. Now I'm trying to maintain the label. You know, while working with the Excel sheet, okay? So this is my Excel sheet. Now, can you see the columns? Can you see the columns? You can extend the width of this column, right? You can extend the width of the column. Now, what is your width of that column that you are already getting in that bracket? It is something like 13.71. It is in centimeter, but if I go with the pixel wise, it is something like 101 pixel. You can adjust the column width anytime, anyhow. It's up to you. Same way, like while trying to maintain the label, there should be at least one label you should maintain. But SAP has provided the four different options for you: short, medium, long, and the heading. Right? Now, in the customer ID, what information you are trying to maintain? Customer account number. How many characters will be there? Number of characters. It may be 5 characters, 6 characters, 8, 9, 10, 11. How many characters will be there? Now, we have not decided it, but of course, we are going to maintain some number. Count I'm talking about, total count. If I consider the bank account number, how many digits will be there? 10 or 11 digits. Similarly, the customer ID which you are going to create, you are going to specify some length. Same. Now, if your column width is between 10 to 13 character, if your column width is between 10 to 13 character, then maintain the label as short. Column width I'm talking about. Here in the Excel sheet, you can adjust the column width. Now currently what is the column width? It is 10.14. So if it is between 10 to 13, if your column width is 10 to 13, then it will pick the field label from short, which you have maintained in the short. If your column width is between 15 to 20 character, as I discussed, you can adjust the column width at any time. Same will be applicable to your table also. When we see the output, you can easily adjust the column width. In that situation, if you're after adjusting, if your column width is between 15 to 20 character, then system will pick the label from the medium. If your column width is between 20 to somewhat 40 character, it will take it from the long. It may be chances of it is less than 10 or greater than 40 also. I can say if it is less than 10 or greater than 40, greater than equals to, or in short, I can say flexible. Flexible. In that situation, it will take it from the heading. It doesn't mean that you need to maintain all the label. Anyone is enough. If you are maintaining the short or medium or long or heading, anything is enough. Suppose if you ask me, what if I maintain, if I'm not maintaining any one of this label, so system will not allow you to activate. That is a mandatory. What if I maintain any of, suppose if I maintain the medium only, and what is the width? 15 to 20 character. Now if you're adjusting the column width, your label will not be get changed. It will be remain same which you have already maintained in the medium. It is fixed. But if you want to flexi heading, the flexi column heading, if I change my column width accordingly, my label should be adjusted. In that situation, you need to maintain all. But it is mandatory to maintain at least one of them. So you no need to type the length. You can just decide about the description, the length automatically considered by the system. Suppose in the first, I want it as a customer number. So it doesn't mean that the label and the description should be same or it should be different. No, it can be same also, it can be different also. Nothing to worry. So I'm maintaining something like customer number, and the customer number. Click on enter. Automatically this will be taken by the system. 10, 20, 40. So this is heading is flexible. It is flexible. Nothing to worry. Now see, we have maintained the data element. Now we need to maintain the domain. So as we discussed, domain will be fine under the data element only. Now where I can find the domain? Can you select this data type? Under the data type, you do have the domain. This is your domain. Now domain is nothing but what? Data type and the length for a field. Now the customer identification or customer number which you want to store, what type of this data is, either it's a number, either it's a character or alphanumeric value, or what will be the extended length, that you need to be decided. Now you can ask me, what are the set of data types provided by the SAP? Now I want to see those data types. You know, for every input output field, SAP has provided the F4 help. That is a part of possible values. Now you can see that option. Just apply F4 on in front of this domain. You'll get the pop-up. Now here I want to check the data types. What are the set of data types provided by the SAP? Again, place the cursor on that input output field. Either select the binocular option or select F4 from your keyboard. Now these are the list of data types provided by the SAP. ACCP, it is stored the data in the format of year and the month. Usually date will be stored with date, month and the year, but it will store only year and the month. Similarly, character, CLNT, CUKY, CURR, DEC, DATS, FLTP, INT 1, 2, 3, 4, so on, so on. String, SAP has provided the different data types. Now, I'm expecting this customer identification or customer number will be in the alphanumeric or maybe numeric, but still I want to consider it as a character. So I'm writing it as character. In the two different way you can maintain the data type, sorry, domain. One with the data type, which I have already entered. It is something like character. What is the default length of the character? 1. But here I'm expecting that customer number should be around 10 to 11 character. So you can just provide the length, how many length you want to extend. After providing this, you can click on enter. See, the data type and length, both has been assigned. This is one way. So I will show you another way. So the way you have created the data element, the same way you can create the domain as well. Like something, ZZ. You can propose any name. You can propose any name starting with the Z or Y. And the data element and the domain can be with the same name also. You will not get the restriction like already with this name, the data element has been registered. No, it can be with the same name also. It can be with a different name. Now, if you are saying that, no, I want to create with a different name, you can provide the different like DOM, nothing but the domain. Now you can double click on this, double click on this. So domain so and so does not exist. Do you want to create? Yes. So I'm providing the short description for the domain, something like customer number. Sorry, customer number. Now under this, you do have the data type. What data type you are going to store? Character. What should be the number of character? 10. But there is a main purpose to create the domain to maintain the properties. You know, the another advantage of domain is to maintain the domain properties like sign, lowercase, fixed value, value table, conversion routine. We do have the separate session for this. So the main purpose to create the domain is to maintain the domain properties. Can you see this conversion routine, the sign, the lowercase, right? Then the value range, you do have fixed value, value table, so on. You do have the different advantage of this, but that we'll discuss in a separate session. Make sure that every object must be active. Now what if I am not activating this one? You can just keep as it is, do not activate, just come back. Even your domain, your data element is also inactive. Just don't activate it, just come back. If it is already activated, then you would have get the information over here. Now nothing is populating. It means it is not in active state. So that's the reason if the changes want to be impact, then your every object must be active. So first activate the data element. Second, sorry, activate the domain. And second, activate the data element. Then only your changes will be impact. See, the data type is character, length 10, description. Now, sometimes in the interview, they will ask you, is it possible to create a field without the data element? Of course, yes. How? Can you see this next to search help? You do have the option called predefined type. You can just select. Now, currently, your data element, that field is edit mode. Data type, length, and the short description is non-editable mode. If I select the predefined type, it will be do the vice versa. I will keep this data element as it is. Sorry, for the customer ID, I will create the new field and I will show you that. Suppose I'm creating the next field as a name. Now name can be duplicate. So no need to consider that name as a key field, but I don't want user to enter the null values, or I don't want to save that name as a blank value. He must fill some value. So I'm selecting this initial checkbox. Now without data element also you can create the field. How? Just select the predefined type. So this data element cell will be disabled. The data type, length, decimal and the short description field will get enabled. So you can directly type it as char somewhat 25 and you can say that customer name, something like this. And again, if you want to create the data element, select the data element option. See, you have created the field without data element also, no restriction. But you are saying that no, I want to have the data element, then you can propose the any name starting with Z or Y. I can say customer name. Double click on this, double click on this data element, create object yes. I'm providing description as customer name. Now it's up to you, either you want to create the data element, sorry, domain or not, or I want to provide the direct data type the length. It's up to you. Suppose I'm creating the domain. So first we need to maintain the label. So I'm maintaining the label as customer name. Just save. Now this domain is inactive, means it has not created at. We need to create, double click on this, create object yes. So I'm providing anything, the label, sorry, description, customer name, the data type, character, number of length, somewhat 25, then save in local object and activate. So your domain is active, go back. Your data element is inactive, you need to activate it, this one, and go back. See, even this has also created. Now similarly, I'm creating city, postal, street, so on. Now double click on this. Even though if you are proceeding without save also, he will ask you for the save. This is a table name which was changed, like you have entered some information in current screen and you are leaving that screen. Now, do you want to save the information which you have entered? Of course, yes. And again, he is going to ask you the data element, so answer does not exist. Do you want to create? Yes, I'm providing city. Now, if it's up to you, either you want to create the data sorry, domain, or I directly want to assign the data type. Suppose I'm assigning the data type and the length directly. So it will take data type as character, length as 20. Provide the continuous value. Now under field, I'm maintaining the label. So label and the short description can be same. Okay, nothing to worry. Now I'm entering the postal code ZZ01 underscore postal. Double click on this, create object. Yes, I'm saying postal code. I'm taking NUMC 6, numeric 6. Under this, I'm saving the short description. Save in local object and activate. Go back. So make sure that every object must be active. Then I do have the street. So I want I'm allowing the user to enter the blank value for the street also. So that's the reason I'm not selecting the checkbox. It means street will be allowed to store the blank values, but not customer ID, name, city, and the postal. Something ZZ01 underscore street. Just save before we proceed. Double click on this, create object. Yes, I can say street. Now it's up to you for the street if you want to create the domain. Now under the field label, I'm creating the label. It can be same or it can be different. Now double click on this domain, create object. Yes, I'm maintaining the data type as character, length as something like 35 character. Save in local object and activate. So make a habit about activation. If you're not activating, then the changes will not get impact. Then we are going to create the country as well. So now I don't want user to enter the country as a blank value. He must fill something. So I'm selecting the checkbox. Save. Now double click on this country, create object. Yes. Domain I'm providing. Now if you want, you can create the date domain, otherwise you can directly enter it as a character 3. Go with the field label. I'm showing you both the way. Just save in local object and activate. Go back. The country has been created. Now lastly, I'm creating it as a gender. I don't want that gender value to be fill blank value. Now double click on this ZZ01 underscore gender. Create object. Yes. I'm maintaining it as gender. Domain. I'm creating the domain for this. I'm maintaining the label for this. Now I'm going to create the data element. Sorry, I'm going to create the domain. Okay, double click on this, create object. Yes, in local object. Sorry, gender with character. I can say 1. I want to maintain only M or F, male, female, something. M or F. Just save in local object and activate. Go back, activate the data element, go back. Likewise, you can create n number of field. There is no restriction. You can have n number of key field, no restriction. Now it's up to you which field you want to be entered as a blank value. Accordingly, you can manage the checkbox. If you're not selected the checkbox means street can be allowed to enter the blank or null values. But rest of the fields checkbox has been selected, system will not allow you to store the blank values. You must fill something. Now if you look at the component, delivery and maintenance has been maintained, fields has been created. Now we are going to maintain the technical setting. Now this is a part of technical setting, last option. Now under technical setting, the two mandatory things we need to maintain, one with the data class and the size category. The data class is nothing but what? The table which you have created, under the data which you are going to maintain, what should be the physical area for this table inside the database. Now every type of business data, SAP has provided the physical area inside the database. So your table should be stored in that particular physical area only. You can ask me what kind of physical area provided by the SAP. Just do F4, you'll get the list of possible options. So already in the delivery class, you have selected as a application data. Application can be master or transaction also, but exactly either it's a master or transaction, how we will get to know that? Based on the physical area which you are selecting. If you select the APPL0, then it's part of master data. If you're selecting L1, this will be the part of transaction. Suppose I want to store the master data. Now in this table, like of course I want to put some restriction, how many number of rows will be stored in this table, either 10, 20, 100, 500. SAP has provided some range. Actually, range is not a fixed one. As we discussed in the previous session, if you go with the size category, the range could be anything, but there are total 9 size categories starting with 0 to 9. If I select 0, then it will store the data up to some number. But that range will not be fixed. It can be anything. But here now you can find the different range also. Just do the F4. This is a different range. See, if I select 0, you can store the data up to 3000. Now here you have selected the master data. Now suppose if it is a transaction, you do have the different range. Like for example, if I select the APPL1, now you can see the different range over here. Now I'm finding 3000 only, but for the transaction you can find the different range, right? So I want to store the master data only. Now here I'm selecting the 0 as a size category. There are total 9 size category you do have, right? 0 and save. Now go back. Yes, you have done. But make sure that every object must be active before you get the changes should be applied. So to activate, you need to select this option, activate. Suppose while activating, if there is any error, you must address those error. But if there is warning, see, here we have received the pop-up. Of course, I don't have any error, but I do have the warning. Now, what this warning stand for? Now, do you want to see the logs? Here there is a message. Warning occurred during the activation. Do you want to display the log? If you say no, then it means you are ignoring the warning, but that is not harmful. But if it is an error, then you must address those errors. So I'm going to click on yes option. So it is taking you to the log screen. So the things which you're finding in the green color, it means it is okay. But in the yellow, there is some warnings, but that can be ignored. But what this warning is for? So here it's saying that enhancement category for the table is missing. And sometimes in the interview, they might ask you like, what is the enhancement category? Or during the activation of table, you might get some warning. Did you observe that warning? What does warning stands for? Now, suppose if I want to fix that warning, what steps I need to take? See, now suppose you have created this table. I'm talking about in future, maybe by you or by someone else who is joining in your place in real time. A new developer I'm talking about. In future, anybody else except you as well. Do you want to allow the developer to add the new field in the future? Now currently I'm getting the warning as enhancement category for the table is missing. Now what that exactly meaning of enhancement category? The enhancement category is nothing but the table which you have created. Now in future, maybe by you or someone else who is joining to your team in your place as a developer. I'm talking about developer. This is not for the end user, only for the developer. In future, do you want to do you want anybody else except you as well, even though you as well, to edit this table? If he's editing, if he's adding the new field into the table, do you want to allow him to edit the table and add the new fields? But at this position, the warning which you are getting, as per the warning, you have not decided either you are allowing yourself or any new developer to add a new field into this table or not. You have not decided. You are in neutral position. I'm not saying that yes, he's going to add, he can able to add, but I'm not saying that no, he cannot add the field. I have not decided. I'm in neutral position. That is what the system is saying. Take a stand. Either you are going to allow the other user or maybe by yourself to add the new field into this table, or you're not going to allow them. You need to take a stand, yes or no. That is what enhancement category. So there are 5 options. One with can be enhanced means yes, you are allowing the user to enhance the table means he can add the new field. Deleting, there is no any restriction, but still he can add the field. Here the issue with the adding, not the deleting. Enhancement category is for adding the new field. So the first option is can be enhanced. So if I go with the enhancement category, So there are five. The first one can be enhanced in bracket deep. Next can be enhanced character type or numeric type. The third one is can be enhanced only character type. The fourth one is cannot be enhanced. No, I'm not allowing the user to add any fields in this table. And the fifth option is not classified. Now, currently your warning, the warning which you are getting because of the option which has selected by the system automatically in the background, not classified, means you have not decided. Now, suppose I want user to, I am allowing the new, like maybe myself or maybe the different developer whoever is working with this table. Now, in future, do you want allow them to add a new field into your table? If yes, then what kind of field he can add? So can be enhanced with the deep means you can add a structure into another structure. Usually structure is a collection of fields, even table is a collection of fields. But inside the table you can add complete structure also. Or in one structure you can add another structure. That is a part of deep structure. A structure within the structure or a table within the structure. Oh, sorry. Structure within the table. Structure can be inserted into a table or structure can be inserted into a structure. Both the ways possible. That kind of things we can call as a deep structure. Now you want to allow to add a deep structure into a table, or you want to allow the new developer, maybe by you, to add a new field, but that field type either should be character or either should be numeric. We are going to assign the data type and the length. What kind of field he can be added? Either by character or numeric. Any field is fine. Or you want to allow them to insert or add a new field only with the character type. The field data type should be only character. Or the last option is no, I don't want to allow any other developer or maybe by me also to insert or add a new field into this table. So that is a part of cannot be enhanced. So that option you need to select. Where I can find, go to extras, enhancement category. You'll get the pop-up, just enter. So this is the option. Can be enhanced deep, can be enhanced character type or numeric type, can be enhanced only character type, cannot be enhanced, not classified. But usually in real time, we select the second option, can be enhanced with the character type or numeric. Means he is free to add any type of field. It can be belongs to character or it can be belongs to numeric also. Copy and activate. So this is a pop-up which you are getting, that is a just information message. But why we are getting this message, that we'll discuss in the client number concept or client number topic. Just ignore, enter. See, this time we have not received the warning. Directly the table got activated. Now once we activate the table, of course we are going to maintain the entries in a table. But that maintaining the entries in a table, that is a part of end user job, not by we. So you can maintain the entries in a table in a two different way. One, by creating the table maintenance generator. Through that table maintenance generator also, end user can maintain the entries in a table. But that table maintenance, we need to be generated. Of course, developer needs to generate the table maintenance. The name itself specifies as it is a screen which will be used to maintain the table. Maintain means what? Changing, creating, deleting the fields or data we can say. That's a part of table maintenance generator. So in this table, through table maintenance generator also you can maintain the entries. Otherwise, there is another way to maintain the entries in a table. Utilities, table content, create entry. This is the first way. By selecting utilities, table content, create entries, you can insert a new entry in a table. That is the job of end user, not by you. Or Through table maintenance generator also, you can maintain the entries in a table. Now again, table maintenance generator is a big topic that we do have a separate session for this. Now, if I want to show you with the creating the table with this table content, create entry option, you will get the data entry screen. Suppose I want to create a new entry, 1000, somewhat the name, the city, the postal code, then street I can say, somewhat country, gender. You know, the customer ID, that is a number only, not an issue. But name, which I have entered, that is in the combination of uppercase and the lowercase. A is in the uppercase, remaining characters are in the lowercase. Even the city which I have entered, the first character is in uppercase, remaining are in the lowercase. Even the street, first character is in upper, remaining are the lower. But country and the gender is itself in the uppercase. But if I click on save option, all the character in SAP will be converted into uppercase. That is as per the SAP standard rule. All the characters in SAP, it will be converted into uppercase. Upper will be remains in upper, even the lower will also convert it into uppercase. But you are saying, or end user is saying that no, I don't want to be a specific value, no need to be like, suppose name and the city. Country is fine, gender is fine. Specifically three fields, name, city, and the street. I don't want the characters to be converted in uppercase. Upper should be in upper, lower should be in remains lower. Then you need to work with the concept called domain properties. That is what the advantages to go with the domain. So with the help of domain, we are going to maintain the domain properties like sign, lowercase, fixed value, value table, conversion routine. So here there is a concept called lowercase. We do have the separate session for this domain properties that we'll discuss in the next session. So this is all about the database table creation and maintaining the entries in a table. Of course, once we activate the table, we need to transfer it to the quality, from quality to production. Now it's up to the end user how they are going to maintain the entries. He can maintain by using that utilities table content create entries, but 99.99% of case he used to maintain the data through TMG. So of course, along with the table, we need to create the table maintenance generator as well. So that's it. Thank you for the day and thank you for the session.